Come join Ilara Stefaniuk-Gaudet around a proverbial fire as they share stories of the mysterious and miraculous that they have experienced as a result of developing a deep relationship with a dreaming collective over the past 3 years. When we dream the impossible, we can begin to understand how to do what we previously thought was impossible, and then anything can truly happen. As we begin, we pause to remember that the land where we gather has borne witness to thousands of years of Indigenous history, culture, and spirituality, and continues to do so, which provides a rich and fertile context for us as we gather in a religious community here at Westwood. For this, we are grateful. As people who are part of Treaty 6, we commit ourselves to the creation of an equitable, just, and compassionate relationship throughout our shared territory. Welcome to Westwood, a Unitarian Universalist community where our search for spirituality and passion for justice meet and mingle, where our head and our heart are divided no more, where reverence for the earth and belief in the dignity of every person inform our ethics, where music is an expression of our joy, worship a sign of our faith, and acts of justice a symbol of our hope. You are welcome here to rest sometimes, to grow by searching and participating sometimes, and to serve the world in whatever way you choose. A special welcome to people who may be here for the first time, here in person or on Zoom. We are a welcoming, nurturing, and inclusive community where people may experience freedom of religious thought, spiritual development, hope, and inspiration. We hope you'll stay for coffee, tea, and conversation after the service. It's also the second Sunday potluck, so everyone's encouraged to stay for that after the service as well. My name is David Williamson. I am your service leader. My pronouns are he and him. We share our preferred pronouns as a way to support those in our community who are transgender or non-binary. This invites others to feel safe and comfortable, showing their true selves in our company. Our musician this morning is the wonderful Steve Bell, who will be making magic with our Christmas requests. Oh, sorry, copy and paste there, little mistake. But Steve is here, and we will be enjoying his music. Our multi-platform technology team consists of Hannah, who makes it all look so easy, and her assistant this week, Lorian, thank you. Our Zoom host is Bill Lee, and on coffee was Rowan and Lucas today. If you could light the chalice, Ron. Our opening words today are from Inuit shaman Uvavunuk. Trembling with joy, the great sea has set me in motion, set me adrift, moving me like a weed in a river. The sky and the strong wind have moved the spirit inside me till I am carried away, trembling with joy. Please stand in body or in spirit to sing, Joy, Thou Goddess. This is the season of anticipation, the marking of time leading up to an expected event. Here at Westwood, we are marking the weeks leading up to winter solstice, the turning of the earth, which places us at the farthest angle from the sun, the shortest day and the longest night of the year. The candle of joy represents the liberation and celebration we experience in the presence of life's freedom, beauty, and connection. We light this candle in the direction of the west, which represents water in many earth-centered traditions. May all lives come to flow with joy as an expression of life's blessings and good fortune. Now we will sing the first 3 verses of our Westwood Advent Carol.
Holy shines a light of peace.
We are so lucky to have Ilara and their beloved puppets back with us. This is going to be a story for all ages.
Testing sound. Sound? Yay! Good morning, everybody. It's good to be back. All right. So for any of you who don't know, my name is Ilara Stefaniuk-Gaudet. My pronouns are they and them. This is Spruce the squirrel, whose pronouns are squee and squir. And this is Goldie, whose pronouns are she and her. And normally they would be introducing themselves, but right now Goldie is sleeping. Goldie! How are you sleeping at a time like this? I'm not sleeping anymore, Spruce. Well, that's good, because I need to talk to you. Oh, Spruce, I was hibernating. No, you can't sleep at a time like this. It's so hard because there's so much darkness and it's almost the darkest day of the year and I can't even contain myself because there's so much going on in the world. I don't know what to do. How could you possibly be sleeping? Spruce, I think I need to remind you of something. Well, yeah, that's why I came to talk to you. When the world is dark, we need to turn inwards to find our light, Spruce. But I'm looking out at the world and it's really, really hard to see that right now. And I don't even know where to start. That's why I'm sleeping, Spruce, because I need to see the light inside myself so spring will come. I don't understand. Well, why don't you try closing your eyes for a second? I have really big eyes, that's hard. I'll help you. Okay. My eyes are closed. It feels even darker in here right now. Calm down, Spruce. Just take a deep breath and look at something inside. I'm gonna give you a little question to think about. Okay, I'll do my best. When your eyes are closed, what's something inside you, and this is for everybody, something inside you right now that feels lit up? Well, I guess that I can see that I really care about everything in the world right now. That's something that's lit up inside me. Good work, Spruce. Is there anything else? I can imagine, if my eyes are closed, I can imagine that I'm jumping through the trees in the sunshine, even though it's cold outside right now. There, now you're understanding, Spruce. When it's dark out in the winter, we imagine the sun returning. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ilara. That was excellent. The lighting of candles of concern and celebration, a cherished tradition in many Unitarian Universalist congregations. It allows us to understand each other's worlds a little better, enabling us to share the joys and offer comfort to those with concerns. It helps us to be a true community. You may share with the congregation your joy or concern, or you may choose to light a candle in silence. Those of us who are here in person, please come up to the front. You can light your candle as the person before you is speaking, then come to the microphone to speak if you wish. Zoom friends, please raise your hand and we will call on you. I invite you now to light candles of concern or celebration. I'm going to light one last candle for any joys or concern which remain in our hearts unspoken. Our offerings of money and volunteer service are the essential elements that sustain our community and this place. Some donate on Sundays, others on a monthly basis. You can also donate to Westwood by e-transfer. The information is on this slide. Now we will sing From You I Receive. Please join us in our next song. Ilara Stefaniuk-Gaudet has just begun their Master of Theology at St. Stephen's this fall and is solidly on the path towards UU ministry. They are dreaming their ministry will take the shape of hospital chaplaincy. They have worked hard to balance their academic education with education from Indigenous Knowledge Keepers and community, sitting in monthly Moon Lodge ceremony with Michelle Hansen-Cunningham for the past 2 years. They are active on the Canadian Unitarian Council Board of Trustees. They have a lot more tattoos than the last time you saw them. Join Ilara as they share some of their transformative adventures in dreaming and art from the past 2 years. As many of these experiences have centered on shadow work, you will be invited to contemplate the question of where you find your light when the world is expressing so much darkness.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I even actually just got a brand new tattoo last night on the front of my arm. Good morning again. No? Oh my God, you guys. I need more enthusiasm than that. There we go. Thanks, Rebecca. My name is Ilara Stefaniuk-Gaudet, and my pronouns are they, them. And I am both very excited and grateful and a little bit terrified to be back on stage with a microphone. For those of you who don't know me yet, I worked with children and youth here at Westwood for 9 years, and then have just completed a 2-year covenantal break when I decided to go back to school to pursue ministry. That's going well, as David already said, and that's a story for another time. A lot has changed in the time that I've been away for all of us, and change is always a little scary. I'm feeling very tender being in a room with so many people that I've loved so deeply, and feeling like we don't really know each other the way that we once did. We'll have to get to know each other all over again in a completely different shape of a relationship. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I've also been feeling my anxiety building up coming towards this Sunday. I've learned a lot about feeling all my feelings and letting myself be vulnerable enough to express them in these past couple of years. It's been challenging because I and many others have very much been considered otherwise, taught to put on a brave face, grin and bear it. I'm still learning and working on healing the wounds that have come from that messaging. It's deep work. There's been a lot of initiation, and it has changed me a lot. For me, these changes have been beautiful and life-giving, and they are soul deep, and they reflect a worldview that may be less familiar. So there is a vulnerability in this sharing. And I promised Rebecca a joyful sermon to touch the Advent theme for today. We'll get there, I promise. First, I do need to name that we are almost at winter solstice. This is a very dark time of year, literally. And I've been feeling that darkness heavily this year. There's been a lot. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. There's a lot of shadow moving in our beloved worlds right now. Shadows honored. Here's the central message for this morning. When the world is dark, we need to turn inward to find the light. Goldie touched on it a little bit already, but here it is one more time. When the world is dark, we need to turn inward to find the light. As you sit with this and let the stories I'm about to share wash over you, I invite you to consider this question. What light are you dreaming into as the darkest night of the year draws close? I've been transformed in these past 2 years by tears and fire and sitting in ceremonial circle, and by learning how to nurture and trust my dreamer, that part of me that travels through many realms while my physical self sleeps. I've built a relationship with that dreamer through individual and a lot of collective work, and have come to understand dreaming as a powerful, animate force that shapes us far more than we shape it. Our becoming is a dream coming true. Let's back up a bit. The spring that I started school and also had left Westwood initially for my covenantal break, I also reconnected with a dear chosen sibling, Kat, who is also my tattoo artist, who I hadn't been in contact with throughout the worst parts of the pandemic. The timing of our reconnection was miraculous. I was experiencing deep grief about leaving Westwood and about Anne and Laurie moving away, not to mention all that was happening in the wider world at the time. The times that Kat and I spent together lit me up when things felt extra hard and uncertain, and that light felt almost impossible to find. Not long after we reconnected, Kat invited me into the Moon Lodge that David mentioned, led by Moon Matron Michelle Hansen-Cunningham. When I asked Michelle's consent to name her in this space, she requested that I also honor her dreaming teacher, Akwako LeBlanc, also named Lisa Tardif. Moon Lodge is a sharing circle that meets monthly around the shamanic Dreamtime medicine wheel, which was passed to Michelle from Lisa, and Lisa is Anishinaabe and Malasite from Montreal. Our circle shares together and dreams together and works to heal our moons, or inner children. It took me a few months before I followed up on Kat's invitation to attend because I was still co-facilitating Soulful Sundowns, an online group supported by Westwood that had a bit of national reach and was focused on decolonization through deepening relationships. The call to attend Moon Lodge was the main reason that I ended up needing to let that facilitation role go, because both were meeting on the full moon. And the call to attend Moon Lodge was really loud. Now, I've taken my dreams seriously my whole life, as I'm sure some of you know. My mom started me illustrating a dream journal that she would write out my dreams in when I was 3 years old. I still have that first dream journal and those illustrations, and it's a very precious piece that I have at home. I've experienced a lot of magic through dream work of many shapes, and that magic has grown immeasurably in the past couple of years. That growth began with this call to Moon Lodge. Reflecting on the story of how that call began still fills me with awe and delight. I told you we would get to the joyful part. Kat and I had gotten together a couple of times in the spring. My beloved Lynn and I had both scheduled in a number of tattooing sessions with her. And then the summer was wildly busy, and we didn't see each other again until the fall. I also have at least a dozen magical tattoo stories that I would be happy to share at coffee hour. Throughout that first summer and fall, however, I wasn't sure about what I was going to do about school. There were so many complications with undergrad. I was seriously considering moving back to Nova Scotia with Lynn, and right after Anne and Laurie completed moving back to Saskatoon, I was slammed with grief. It was October, so to tend my aching heart, I started a Halloween-themed piece of art for myself. It was a crow in a little witch's hat with a broom tucked under her wing. And then, about halfway through the month, after I had started this piece, and when I felt like I was in about 1 million pieces and desperately in need of guidance, I had a dream. I dreamt that I was with a group of folks from the Unitarian Church of Edmonton, and we were going to offer ceremonial gratitude to the water. We came to a sign that said, "Slave Lake, 10 kilometers," and everyone stopped to offer their gratitude. I thought this was completely unacceptable and said we couldn't offer gratitude to the water without going all the way to the water. Nobody listened to me, so I continued on alone. I came to a chain link fence next to a community center where there was a small space I could get through to go to the water's edge. I went to the water, offered prayers, and then was chased by a bird into the community center. I tried to shut the door on it, but it came in after me. It was a crow. And once it was inside the building, it shape-shifted into a warrior with purple regalia with a face that shifted between youth and elder and crone. I woke up knowing without any hint of doubt that I needed to go to Slave Lake to offer gratitude to the water. I'd never been to Slave Lake before, and I had no connection to the place previously, but I knew that I needed that ceremony to honor all the blessings from my time here at Westwood, my relationship with Anne and Laurie, and also to transition into this new period of my life in, as Canadian Unitarian Council Elder-in-Residence Sharon Jinkerson-Brass would say, a good and humble way. I left the very next morning. Inspired by a ceremony that Richard Wagamese describes in his book One Drum that he invites his readers to practice, I brought broadcloth and a pouch of tobacco with me to ritually make bundles to give thanks to the water. It was pitch black when I left, and the first hour of the drive was through the thickest fog I've ever experienced. I felt like I needed to emerge from the underworld. When I got to Slave Lake, I discovered that 99% of lakefront near the town is private property. There was one small path that I was able to take to the water. It was right beside a community center surrounded by a chain link fence. I made tobacco bundles, and I sang my gratitudes to the water, and I sat with myself, and I journaled and wept out so much heartache. And then I drove home with the sun shining and feeling much, much lighter. About a week later, Kat and I had made a lunch date to reconnect after those summer months apart. We hadn't spoken beforehand other than to make plans to get together. We'd probably been sitting down for about 5 minutes in the restaurant before Kat said, with a huge amount of enthusiasm, that she had to tell me about the Crow Witch she'd seen while she was in BC. I'm pretty sure I snorted my coffee and responded with something along the lines of, "Did you just say what I think I heard?" Which she had. So it turns out, at the exact same time that I was following Crow to offer gratitude to the water in Slave Lake, Kat was offering gratitude to the water in BC, in the ocean. And she saw a crow witch while she was there. Well, at first what she saw was a cloud of crows coming down the street in the city of Vancouver, in a weird, very un-crow-like configuration toward her. As they got closer, she saw that there was a woman at the center of the cloud of crows, dressed in black and feeding them as she walked down the street. Clearly, it was something she did regularly because the crows were flocking around her as she walked. So needless to say, the drawing that I did of the Crow Witch now lives in Kat's kitchen. We continued to swap stories of the weekend as we were eating lunch. And she told me that our moon matron, Michelle Hansen-Cunningham, lives on Slave Lake. It's an incredibly sacred lake to the Indigenous people of that place. I hadn't known either of these pieces of information. I had simply trusted that my dreamer knew what I needed when I was feeling shattered. And I haven't missed a moon lodge since that October. I know that I still have a lot of healing to work on within that sacred circle. I couldn't be more grateful for Michelle's guidance and the community that has become a part of my life, because I was willing to listen when my dreamer showed me what I needed to do. I've experienced countless miraculous moments in the last 2 years that I never would have imagined possible. Lynn has also been with us in Moon Lodge for the past year now, which has deepened our relationship in incredibly wondrous ways. I've looked at some of the hardest parts of myself with clarity and created beauty with them as gifts for ceremonial spaces. The 2 paintings in the slide were both gifts. The first one on the top ended up being a gift for myself, and the bottom one was a birthday gift for my mom. Mom's painting is filled with images of gratitude for our relationship and the life she gave me. Lynn installed it in her office in Saskatchewan last year. In the top piece, every symbol is a specific piece of my shadow that I named and sat with and cried with to learn to love myself more deeply. Most of the symbols came to me from dreams. I've painted a lot of circles in the past couple of years, and I just started another one now, last night. It helps me remember that life is a sacred circle, helps me feel and ground into that remembering. There are so many stories. One of the women that I met in Moon Lodge, Natalie Jackson, creates magical spaces and ceremonies on her property just outside the city. She and another friend from Circle did a series of fire walks over the last couple of years. It's the fire walk I did that inspired the title for today's service, Dreaming the Impossible. Walking across hot coals after hours of building a fire, one log at a time, with collective prayers and intentions, truly makes you feel like anything is possible. The light of those burning coals guided me to my own path. Their heat moved through my whole body as I walked. I burned away the doubt that I couldn't achieve what I've set out to with school and ministry, and I didn't burn anything else. I was reminded that the fire truly does live inside me. That flickering flame that warms the night truly lives inside each of us. When the world is dark, we need to turn inward to find the light. What light are you dreaming into as this darkest night of the year draws close? May your turning inwards reveal the light of a single candle burning brightly to light a room. May your dreaming help you remember that the sun will return, and may you be a light in a dark world. Blessed be, and amen.
Our last song today is Let All the Beauty We Have Known. Please stand in body or spirit as you feel inclined. Our closing words are from Denise Levertov. Marvelous truth Confront us at every turn, in every guise, iron ball, egg, dark horse, shadow, cloud of breath on the air. Dwell in our crowded hearts, our steaming bathrooms, kitchens full of things to be done, the ordinary streets. Thrust close your smile that we may know you, terrible joy.